Hello, I'm Stacy Tweedy, Southwest Regional Director for the Kansas Department for Children and Families. It's an honor to be with you and share information about how Kansas is transitioning from a traditional child welfare system to a child and family well-being system. When the COVID-19 pandemic began and schools began to shut down in the spring of 2020, a national conversation inspired us to work with several partners to create a Kansas Surge Protection Work Group to explore communication to educators about supporting families. Later in the summer of 2020, Kansas participated in Casey Family Program's 100 Days of Learning cohort and began the National Governors Association Learning Group for Front-End Service Transformation. From those conversations sprang the Community Supporting Families pilot program we're presenting today. Community Supporting Families is a multi-agency collaboration with the Kansas Department of Education, Unified School District 253, and the Kansas Children's Service League. As we kicked off this effort, a few things stood as core beliefs for our partnership. Communities and families are their own experts. Communities possess meaningful resources, and we should be providing the earliest support possible to families. If we want to switch to a child and family well-being system, we must start thinking of educators as mandated supporters, not mandated reporters, and the goal to prevent the need for formal child welfare contact. Given these beliefs, we set out to determine how we could connect families to services without a formal DCF intake. In order to make this happen, the pilot set two goals, one short-term and one long-term. In the short term, how could we build competencies and capacities within the Emporia School District to connect families to community partners where there is a need for services that doesn't include concerns of abuse or neglect? Longer term, to expand this effort to other communities and school districts and continue shifting from reporters to referrers and supporters.
Our world has been kind of topsy-turvy the last couple of years, and whenever those uncertain times come, that provides more stress for individuals, and of course that provides more stress for families. And so more resources, more supports have been needed.
At the beginning of this pilot program, there was a lot more risk factors in place for kiddos, for families, because of that heightened stress, that lack of resources in place.
Teachers became much more firsthand observers about what was happening in homes, and the reality was in their face, and then I think they felt very helpless at times about what they should be doing or what they could be doing.
It's hard to shake that negative impression that they might have had of us beforehand. And there's this innate fear always if DCF shows up at your door.
Helping parents feel more safe and normalized for reaching out and looking for resources is probably the biggest challenge.
Learning the different politics in everybody's organization, and the different processes, the different legal aspects that we had to think about. When you do have a larger district, a larger organization, it just takes longer to affect change.
We will have to help the community to understand the shift in the dynamics of DCF and other social service agencies, that we're there to support, that we're not automatically there to find fault or to be negative or disparaging to them. We really want to support them, and so being a resource for them in their time of need rather than being somebody who's going to come in and find fault with them.
Emporia's size has been great because it's not too big, it's not too small, but there's also resources that people who have passion have started those resources, or organizations that we don't necessarily know. But there might be larger organizations like Kansas Children's Service League that might know of various organizations. So just having more of those conversations and more intentionally has helped us. And so it's just helped, I think, the district, we've just developed tighter relationships.
This is all about prevention and early intervention, making sure that we get into families early before the crisis, before the children experience adverse childhood experiences, before they realize trauma or crisis. It's much healthier on our community, but overall it's the healthiest for our children.
Early successes is that we do see families getting those resources faster than they're able to than maybe before. And through that 1-800-CHILDREN, making that much more accessible has been a big success. And I would say just a strengthened relationship with those agencies and those organizations, that we have a much better understanding of how the organizations are working. Plus, we've been able to help DCF promote what they're doing as far as a supporter and then the not reporter.
We've certainly seen a lot of success, and the family doesn't feel attacked. They feel supported. We can make creative plans to keep them safe, to keep the kiddos safe. We know that they're more successful willingly doing it, and taking out us as like a middleman to get you there. I think that'll be really important, and I think we'll see that very quickly as soon as we get it like fully on the ground.
Thank you to our partners for their commitment to this effort and for sharing their wisdom with us. So where do we stand? We established 6 success indicators. We are still waiting on data on 2 of those indicators: reducing the number and percent of families in need of assessment reports of school-aged children, and reducing the number and percent of physical neglect or lack of supervision types on school-aged children. Our other 4 indicators we achieved during the pilot program. Those are cultivating champions in the Emporia School District, improved communication between educators and DCF, establishing a clear path to replicate the program in other areas, and exploring the intersection with this pilot and efforts to establish a family resource center across Kansas. Thank you again for allowing us this time to present our Community Supporting Families pilot program. A special thanks to the Kansas Department of Education, Unified School District 253 Emporia, and Kansas Children's Service League. We appreciate your partnership. Finally, a special thanks to our DCF leadership, Deputy Secretary Tanya Keys and Secretary Laura Howard. Thank you for your support and your guidance. Thank you.